the world leader in soccer football podcast. Welcome to In the Dugout with Chris Cross. Welcome back to In the Dugout here with Chris Cross. We're going to talk Monaco now in a very interesting transfer window for them. They've bought a couple of players in at the start of next season on free transfers. I've supported Shaun work in the past, but some interesting decisions here that we'll get to. First off, Corentin Tolisso joining them from Paris Saint-Germain, an interesting option, obviously looking to strengthen the midfield, a player who turned them down a few seasons ago, but they've gone back in for sloppy seconds. Let's see if it pays off. Another midfielder that they've bought in as well, Mohamed Kudus. To be fair, this guy does look good, coming in from Ajax, no doubt because they've missed out on European football. Probably a player more in his prime than Tolisso. A pretty good get there for Monaco, to be fair, so they might have done some good business here, but the next one, I'm not so sure, because they've signed Harry Kane from Tottenham. He is going to be joining next season as an impact sub. I'm not sure what Shaun's thinking here, but he might be past it. I honestly don't know. He's stolen Tottenham's pride and joy away. I don't know what to say. The sale of promising centre-back, the Italian David Acquaviva, for $90 million to Manchester United, one of the club's most promising prospects, and I don't really know if he knows what he's doing. Maybe it's time for Damon to leave. Damon out, we're saying here in the dugout. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. Today we're going to wrap up the transfer window, albeit Chris Cross wasn't very impressed with some of our decisions, but we'll get to that in a second. You can probably already see some of the business that we've done here though, and we're also taking on Paris Saint-Germain and a big top of the table clash in Ligue. We'll show you exactly how important that clash is in terms of the table very shortly. If you are looking forward to this, then please do go down below, leave a thumbs up, and if you are new around here, also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. It is greatly appreciated. So I am recording this just after I filmed the bit that jumped into yesterday's video regarding transfers, because a lot of the deals that I had set up completely fell through, but we still have done a bit of business. In terms of outgoings, a lot of these are players going out on loan, so not a lot of important detail there. We have lost a few players though. First transfer that we're going to run through is Miguel Almeida, a player who we didn't actually pick up that long ago. The Portuguese centre midfielder. He only joined us last season for 1.4 million, but he wanted to leave the club. He was getting a bit frustrated, lack of game time, and we ended up flicking on to Lille, so is a rival of ours, but for 15 and a bit million, I thought we've made a decent profit on him. You see, he's valued a bit higher, but we have made a huge profit on him there, so he's going to a team where he's supposed to be a regular starter. He is quite well rounded, but he was never really going to get there for us. If you look at the scout summary, only averagely rated. The potential-wise, he wasn't going to get up to a lot more than what he was already on in terms of potential. So I thought that was a decent deal. Get the money while we could for Almeida. And of course, with some of those signings who are going to be coming in next season that you would have seen before, Kudus and Tolisso, and to a lesser extent, Harry Kane, who is listed as a midfielder in this game now, which is a bit interesting. But with those players coming in, potentially into the first team, Harry Kane probably in more of a mentor role, to be honest. Hopefully he can teach our young strikers a thing or two, but he was going to be on the outer anyway, so I thought we'd cash in on this guy while we could, so he has now left the club, Miguel Almeida. The next transfer that went through was Lucas Martinez Quarta. He has left the club. He was a 2.5-star rated centre-back. He was here when we joined the club. He's been hovering, playing the odd game, but not a heck of a lot. And with the lack of football that we're now going to be getting for the second half of the season, now that we got booted out of the Coupe de France, it felt like a decent time to cash in on him as well. We sold him on for 12.75 million to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. Look, we made a loss on the deal overall from when we bought him in, but that was back in 2024-25 before I came here. And he's got on a bit now. He's 32 years old. It felt like a good time to let him go. And with that money, we've been able to bring someone in, albeit They haven't joined us yet, and we'll explain why in a second. On the same day, we fixed the Gorlon injury issue to a certain extent. As I said it in yesterday's episode, that bit that I've literally just recorded about 20 minutes ago in real life, Goron got injured. We were looking at either Thibaut Courtois or Alisson. Now, Thibaut Courtois, we talked to first, mainly because we actually had already tried to sign Alisson at the point of yesterday's video, and he turned us down at that stage. We couldn't figure out the contract things. We tried to sign Courtois, but real money. Instead, he opted to join Southampton on a free at the end of the season. So we had another look at Alisson a few days later, and he wanted to talk to us again. So we were able to pick him up from Liverpool for 10 million. Could rise to 20, but that's depending on him playing so many league games. And if things go to plan and he becomes a backup next season like he's supposed to, that shouldn't happen. So $10 million for Alisson Becker. And you look at his stats, he is still really good. And coming in for Goron, you could argue he's a slight improvement. In fact, he's superb at one-on-ones. A lot of those stats are still very good. Obviously, his acceleration, agility, not very great these days. But on the whole, he's going to do a really good job for us. I'm very happy with that transfer. Got him on the cheap. He actually turned down another contract offer from Liverpool as well. So while he's getting on a bit, he's in our squad. He's going to do a good first choice role for us this season. And much like partly the reason that we've signed the likes of Harry Kane for next season, he should be a really good sort of mentor for our young goalkeepers as well. So I'm hoping that that can pay off double in terms of the rest of this season as well and in future years for the time that he does stay at the club. We've got him on a 2-year contract, so at the very least he should be here next season as well, unless we do decide to move him on if a silly offer comes in from a club looking to overpay for a player who at that stage will be 37 years old probably. But we've got Alisson Becker in. He is our starting goalkeeper at the moment. Apart from that, we've got a couple of youngsters in. Christian Balan, this was a signing that our second team managers decided to make. We've loaned him straight back out, but Slovakian centre-back, he has some decent stats. Pinched him from Manchester City for not much money, 130,000. Well, I thought that was well worth the punt, and he's got a bit of potential as well. So while we can't see it here because you can't click on the scout summaries when players are out on loan, which is a bit frustrating, but he has got a bit of potential. So for that amount of money, it was well worth the risk. So we've bought him in. We'll see if he ever gets to first team level, but we've bought him in. We'll see what happens there. And we made one more signing on our transfer deadline day. This was for a right winger. Now, there's a reason we've brought in a right winger. We've loaned him straight back out. Part of the deal is he's going to be staying at Club America for the rest of the season. That is Gabriel Rodriguez. You look at him, Uruguayan. He's got very good dribbling. A lot of those stats that we want from our inverted wingers, he is very good at. And at 20 years old, he's got a lot of potential. You can see he's now valued at 25.5 million. So to get him for that 14.5 is very good. You look at his stats this past season at Club America, he has been tearing things up. 26 appearances, 13 goals, 6 assists, 5 player of the matches. Well worth getting into the team, especially when you consider, if we go quickly to our tactics screen, Ousmane Dembele is going down rating-wise. A few players have gone down since Alisson's joined the club, so I'm not sure if that's mainly because of that being such a world-class player, even at that age, but Dembele is 31 years old now, so maybe he's going to start decreasing in attributes soon. So bringing in someone like Gabriel Rodriguez might not be the worst idea, just to maybe counter that. He'll join us next season and maybe then he can push on to try and take Dembele's spot on the right wing, but we'll see how we get on there. Just something that for that amount of money I thought it was worth doing just in case that happened. And then we also had another deal. Now this was past our transfer deadline day. That was mentioned in the intro by Chris Cross. Not sure if I agree with him, but we did let David Acquaviva go to Manchester United. So they have in the end pinched a player off us. For some reason, the French transfer window closes on the 30th of January, and yet everywhere else in Europe seems to finish on the 31st. Bit weird, bit annoying too, but we got a really good sum of money for this guy. 80 million, should rise up to 90. It's a fair bit over his value, albeit he's got a lot of potential, as we know. Such a good aerial threat, and I do love that in my players. But 90 million, because it should get there, I thought it was too good to turn down, especially considering that Tapsoba is now returned from the Africa Cup of Nations as well, so he's back in the mix. This guy would have been a fourth choice backup at centre back with Sevillano and Nianzu ahead of him, as well as Tapsoba. And we've also got a couple of guys that for now we can bring in from the under-19s and second team who are okay, not nearly as good as him, but for the amount that we were probably going to use him, felt like it was a good idea. We bought him a couple of seasons ago, 16 million. To turn that around to 80 million, I think that's a heck of a bit of business, even though this guy is exceptionally promising. So he is a player who could have done a bit for us in the future here, but with that money, we'll be able to bring in a player of similar quality, I believe, for a price around what we paid for him in the first place and make a bit of profit from the money that Manchester United gave us. So that was more of a business decision. But yeah, good money for Aquaviva, and it felt it would have been silly to turn that down, especially for a player who at the moment was not in our first team pictures. Maybe I should have tried to do a deal where we had him back on loan for the rest of the season, but when that deal was taking place, my brain was scrambled up and I didn't think clearly enough to do that, so maybe I stuffed up there. But Aquaviva has left us past our transfer deadline, but before the English one, so he is gone, and a number of players on loan. As you can tell, not a lot of first team prospects there, but yeah, so it's been a mixed transfer window. First team wise, it feels like we've strengthened. We've brought Allison in to sort out the Goron issue, but we've also lost Aquaviva in terms of the future. So yeah, albeit we have already made a signing for that. And if we go to our ins, it is Louis Rueda, along with some of these other guys. We've got a couple of youngsters joining us in the future as well, but we'll deal with them later. Obviously, they've got a bit of potential, some upfront players, Zuniga and Carrillo. But the one to replace Aquaviva is Louis Rueda, a Colombian centre-back joining us from Boca Juniors, worth 8.25 million. We've spent 15 million on him. Look, aerially, not as good as Aquaviva was, but as a whole, he should do a pretty decent job for us. And considering that we're going to get him for a little bit cheaper than what we got Aquaviva for, I'm hoping for what we're going to need him for. He's 19 years old, so he can still improve that heading and jumping reach, hopefully. I think he should be good for us. Yeah, probably not as good aerially as Aquaviva was, but he should do a job for us when we need him. And that is the main thing. So he is going to be coming in at the end of the season to pretty much out and out replace Aquaviva as one of our backup centre backs. And that pretty much rounds out our transfer window, along with those players, the older players, and Kudus, Tolisso and Kane in terms of the older ones, but Kudus is definitely in his prime. Players who will strengthen us next season. And in terms of the transfer budget, you're probably wondering why it's so small after that Aquaviva transfer. A lot of it's gone into the wage, and also there was a sell-on clause deal to Roma with that deal that we made for Aquaviva, so we didn't see about half of that money, which was a little bit frustrating, but it was still enough for us to do what feels like decent business. So we're in a good position. We've got a lot of wage budget left too, which is going to be important when you're bringing the likes of Tolisso, Kane, Kudus, these sort of players in, as well as Alisson. So yeah, we've bulked out our wage budget, and if we need to, we can always jump that back into the transfer budget. So in yesterday's episode, back to the actual gameplay, we took on Nice, bet them 2-1, had to come from behind in a game that was feeling very much like the prior Nimes one, where we lost out in the first game of our Coup de France this year. Off the back of that, some really good results. I won't show you guys highlights of these because lots of goals will be here for a while. We started off with a 4-1 win against Metz. Goals there to Sevillano. Henri got a double, and Almas also getting his first goal for the club. So that was a good start to keep us up near the top of the table. And in fact, at this point, we were joint with, I think it was PSG and Marseille. We were all joint on the same amount of points for a while. Off the back of that, away at Reims, another game in which we scored 4 goals. This time we didn't concede any. Nianzou getting one, Gabriel Fernandez with a goal, and once again, Flavio Henri picking up a double, so he responded to that Manchester United rejection on our part quite well, which was good to see. And then yet another 4-0 win at the end of the month, this time at home to Bordeaux. Another double for Henri, so he's in very good form. And also chipping in there, Sevillano again, and Amin Ghaly, who got a start just as we were freshening bodies up for that game. You can see this past week we've had, prior to this PSG game, quite a busy week, and maybe that caught up with us in the Montpellier game, because unfortunately in our most recent game we lost it 1-0 away. Really frustrating result, this one. Kind of like the Nimes in Nice game, albeit the Montpellier goal was very well worked on their part. We had some good early chances inside the first 5 minutes, but it was Montpellier who made the most of theirs. Some lovely short passing here to send Hernandez through. It was very well worked, gets it beyond Alisson, and that was the only goal in the game. Overall shots, a lot more for us, but we weren't nearly efficient enough with them, not enough on target. and Montpellier made theirs count. So frustrating, not as frustrating as those games against Nice and Nimes where it felt like we were fully getting FM. These guys actually did a bit and we were just a bit off. But yeah, a lot of our shots being blocked and it was a pretty poor performance. So what that means for Ligue 1 is this game today against top of the table PSG is very important because this is our chance to keep pace with them. If we lose this game and PSG get another win, we're going to be 6 points behind them. And it's going to start feeling like last season, which we do not want. So PSG currently top of the table. Marseille only 1 point ahead of us. They are definitely starting to hit a wall after they jumped out to a very good start and got about a 7-8 point break. I think it was earlier in the season. They have well and truly been reeled back in, and I think we should be able to get past them. That obviously depends on the game that we play against them next month, but I'm pretty sure we should be able to get past Marseille for second. What's really going to be important, it feels like, is today's game against PSG to see if we can hopefully keep pace with them and maybe have a challenge for the Ligue 1 title, as well as seeing what we can do in the rest of the Champions League alongside today's opponent, PSG, who are also in that round. So a freeway battle. Lyon still keeping pace in fourth. So if we do slip up too much more, they're a team who could overtake us and put us in the Europa League for next season, which would be a bit of a disaster if that happened. I'm not too sure what we'd do, but it's really a top 4 race now. The rest of the teams are just way too far behind, 21 points behind us. It is fully the top 4 in terms of European qualification for the Champions League. And I'd even go as far as saying probably the top 3 for the title, especially if we can't do the job today. Then PSG are in a very good position, having already played Marseille in the second part of the season, having beaten them 2-0 after losing to them earlier on in that first half of the season. But that is what has been happening so far. Of course, off the back of this, in tomorrow's episode, not far away now, we will be taking on Chelsea in the first leg of that Champions League, first knockout round. And then we've got that Marseille game coming up. We'll probably see where they are before deciding if we do that game or just go straight into Chelsea or maybe even do a double header there. But we will come back to you guys when we get into this match coverage. It is PSG at our home ground though, so hopefully we can pick up a good result and go joint with them at the top of Ligue 1. Okay, so here are the team sheets. In terms of what we've got available to us, it's probably what you'd expect from us. One thing I did forget to mention is that Ethan Ampadu has suffered an injury. He is out for just over a week. He'll be pushing it for the Chelsea game, but he's definitely not available today. What we've done is we've put Nianzou in his place. He played quite well in that CDM role a couple of games ago, or episodes ago anyway, and Sevillano keeps his place at centre-back alongside the returning Tapsoba, who is now back after the AFCON tournament. Also, Marco Stamenik keeping his place with Lucien Agume not quite right for a full game. He can only handle 45 minutes, but he is back in the squad, which is nice to see. Otherwise, though, we're looking pretty close to full strength. We're steadily getting there with, of course, the notable addition of Alisson in goal. There is that Paris Saint-Germain team on the right-hand side. Look, it's very strong, about what you'd expect from them at this stage. They will take some beating, but hopefully we can get the job done in front of our home crowd. So here is our formation. As you'd expect, the 4-3-3. As you can see, recent form great up until that last game against Montpellier, but hopefully we can bounce back, albeit not exactly the game you'd be wanting to face when you have to, because PSG are unbeaten in their last 14 league games, I believe. One of those was a draw against us, though, I'm pretty sure, although actually that would have been a while ago now, so it probably isn't. But either way, they're in really good form. On the whole, we've been in quite good form. Couple of blips in the second half of the season. Obviously, the coup de France in that last game of note, but hopefully now we can get back on track in Ligue 1, and this would be a heck of a way to do it as we kick off playing right to left in the red and white, PSG in the dark blue. We will have an early throw-in, and we will get shown it. So it is Tessier to throw this in for Ousmane Dembele. Hopefully he can deliver a good second half of the season, because he is starting to get on in age, 31 years old. His star rating's gone down, so maybe he might be getting usurped next season. And Sevillano with a header. What a start. That is 1 minute gone, and we've got our goal. Ousmane Dembele delivering with a corner, finds Sevillano's head, and he buries that in the bottom left corner. No highlight, or replay of the goal, I should say. But we've gone 1-0 up early on in this top of the table clash. Throw into PSG, 16th minute. They did have a shot which was blocked, but the highlight very short again. So interesting stuff from the game here. Not getting replays or long highlights so far, but we have that 1-0 lead, which is good to see. And we have possession back after PSG give it away after that throw in Dembele. He tries to get another assist. Flavio Henrique, that's a good save from Cuculescu and goal for PSG, but we will have another corner, and it's from the same side, which Sevillano scored before, but taps over this time, puts it over the bar, and it's still 1-0 as we approach the 20-minute mark. 30 minutes gone as PSG with a free kick, albeit inside their own half, although they're now starting to get it into our territory. Now Mbappe on that left-hand side gets past the defender, finds Augusto, flicks that on for Morello, but it is cleared away from us, so luckily we get possession back, and we're going to play Henrique in here. Nice ball, one-on-one with the keeper, straight at him though. Cuculescu has made a couple of good saves after conceding early. Fernandes with a bit of an injury too, but another corner, taps over, gets his head to it yet again, but over the bar. Looking the more dangerous team, it's fair to say, but still 1-0. As we just have a quick look at this Fernandes injury, potential foot injury. We'll see if he can go to half-time and if we need to take him off then. But for now, 1-0 with 10 minutes to go in the first half. Throw into PSG, only 5 minutes left. Dembele heads that clear to one of the Gomez's. But PSG, of course, will keep possession because of that. Augusto makes his way past the defender. There's a shot. Alisson. I think you should be doing better there. Look, that's pretty poor from us. And Augusto levels things for PSG. That was a bit soft, it's fair to say. Dembele hitting the ball back to them. Bacar Morello plays Augusto through. He just does his defender there. And I'm not sure what Becker's doing there, letting that go through his hands, because that looked a bit soft. It was tapped sober, let him get past him. Mulder couldn't really recover past that. So very average defensive work there. And it is now 1-1 as we approach half-time. And that is frustrating, albeit a draw against PSG, never a bad result. But after you get the lead against them, you want to be closing things out. And hopefully we don't let them get another goal here as they are back on the attack. Mariba, very good midfielder. Out to Gomez on that right wing. Into Felix, back to Gomez. It's nearly a tackle, and now they keep things going here. There's blocks everywhere. It's Pinball Wizard. Gomez, Augusto is a shot blocked. Mbappe with a shot, it goes wide. Still 1-1 as we get close towards half-time. And that is half-time. Not a lot of highlights in that first half, it's fair to say, but we had most of them. Unfortunately, Augusto was able to equalise after a header to Sevillano very early on in the game. And Augusto, a couple of minutes before half-time, levelled things up for Paris Saint-Germain. We'll go to the dressing room. Look, I'll tell them that it's time for us to dig in, because it does feel like we've been the better team here, albeit PSG had a good little spell late on. But on the whole, I think we're the better team there. Just need to be a bit more efficient with our chances. But as you would have seen in a couple of our most recent games, that has been an issue for us for a wee while now. Now we'll bring Alvaro Fernandes on for Paul Tessier, not having a good game. We'll switch him and Mert Mulder around, and also Gabriel Fernandes not doing very well either. And I think for now we'll bring Mengardi on. Another player starting to get on the decline, but he's a lot younger than Dembele. I say a lot, he's 28 years old compared to 31. Not a heap of difference, but he has been decent for us when he has played. Of course, Gary, very good player attribute-wise, so hopefully without the nuisance of a bit of a foot injury, he can get involved and get something going. 2 subs at half-time, only 1 left to make for the rest of the second half, but hopefully we can get a goal to put us back in front, and it is PSG kicking off the second half at the start of the Wii 2, and they make their way forward into our half early doors. Mariba already has his footprints on the second half, getting the ball a lot, but nothing coming early. 1-1. Hopefully we can get a winning goal in the second half against PSG. Okay, we're getting up to around the 70-minute mark now, and nothing has really happened in the second half. Nyanzu's on a yellow card. I'm not too worried about that. We don't really have a heck of a lot of options. Well, I think I'm going to do Flavio Henrique isn't playing very well today, so I think we'll try Edwin Quintero up top. We'll make that change. We'll have to tell Nyanzu to ease off tackles as well, possibly, but we'll do that. We'll see if anything happens. We may even go more direct soon, but 20 minutes to go. Pretty quiet second half so far, though. Hopefully we can still get that winning goal. Corner to PSG coming up to 80 minutes. This would be a cruel blow. It is headed away by Stamnik, I believe that was. Either him or Tapso, but they were both pretty close to each other. PSG back on possession, though, and Augusto out on the right in a bit of space. He'll have a shot, and he's got it in the back of the net. Alisson Becker, for a signing who I thought would help us in goal, He's been a bit of a statue today, it feels like, and they are winning 2-1. And this could be our Ligue chances vanished here. Augusto into Morello, too much space down that right-hand side. Beats him near post. That's pretty poor from a world-class goalkeeper, supposedly. And we need a goal quick in the last 10 minutes. And we now have a throw-in shortly after that goal. Dembele on the ball. We have told the boys to go more direct. We actually did that before they scored that goal. We give possession away, but they give it straight back to us. Stamina out to Fernandez. Oh, that was a heck of a strike. Just wide. That would have been some goal, but we are still a goal behind. Throw in to Monaco. We are entering the first of 4 additional minutes. Albeit we give the ball away, although Felix luckily slide tackles that to Dembele. Mulder tries to find Quintero, can't. Bakar clears the Sevillano, hoofs it forward. We might get something else going. Hopefully we can get an equaliser here because it feels a bit harsh. Albeit we did get an early goal, and from there, look, PSG have had the better of things since about that 40th minute, but doesn't feel like we've been that bad in this game. Just they've been a lot more clinical with their chances than we have. Interesting kick away from the PSG goalkeeper. Nearly thought that was going to hit the defender, but unfortunately for us, it does get out there, although we may be able to create another chance here. Marco Stamenik has a crack, it is blocked, and Nianzu's been to the ball here there, although he does get possession back. Although the highlight ends for now, it's a PSG throw-in. Looks like we're going to have a busy finish to this game. They do lose possession. Marco Stamenik, can he slot someone through? Edwin Quintero, great chance, hits the post. That was the chance that could have kept us in the Ligue race. But he's hit the post. We have a late free kick for Marco Stamenik. Tries to bend it around the corner, can't. That was probably the sort of Gabriel Fernandez sort of situation. And we lose 2 Ligue 1 games in a row. For I think the first time since we've been here. Pretty sure we haven't lost 2 games in a row before in any situation. Look at the ratings. Alisson, as I suspected, had a bit of a stinker today. So, and to be fair, quite a few players didn't really perform. But late chance of Quintero, missed it. And Augusto was just too clinical for us. 2 chances fairly late on in both halves. And that is the difference after we got that early goal to Sevillano. I've come back and got us PSG, and it feels like that might be the Liga title slipping away from us yet again. PSG, they just have a number on us in the league at the moment. It feels like over the past 2 seasons, we got the draw at the Parc des Princes earlier this season, but they come from behind to get us at home, and that's a frustrating loss, it has to be said, especially considering the shots that got past our goalkeeper. When you get someone like Alisson and you expect those to be saved, it's fair to say. So tell them we're not happy with that performance, and hopefully it gives them a kick up the bottom because they need it going into this Chelsea game, because our form at the moment is going to really make it a struggle for us in that game. Hopefully if we make some rotations, which we will have to do prior to the Chelsea game and the Saint Etienne game in between, we can get back into some form. And yeah, that's frustrating. I'll say I don't feel like we deserve to lose that because I don't think we did. And as you can see, in terms of the points table, Marseille with a game in hand, look, I still think we can get past these guys, but PSG, we're going to need them to slip up. So 6-point gap, it's unlikely now, albeit we've still got another 13 games left in the season. So there is a possibility, but just like last year, PSG got off to a slow start, but we've let them back in it and they've gone top of the table. Pretty frustrating. It has to be said, and we'll see how long this Fernandez injury is. It's not long, so that is good. And yeah, hopefully, Ethan Ampadu should actually be back for that Chelsea game, 3 to 9 days. He should be back, but Goron probably won't be for the first leg. And he, all of a sudden, is looking like quite a big loss considering what Alisson did there. But that is it for today's episode, the transfer roundup, and of course, the game against PSG where the result did not fall our way. And yeah, that makes the Champions League a bit more difficult in terms of the title for us now. Really good January, but we have not started February off well at all. We'll be back tomorrow, as I said earlier, for the Chelsea game, the first leg at Stamford Bridge. Hopefully we can improve our form there, but they are towards the top of the Premier League, so that's another tough ask for us. But if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do go down below, hit that thumbs up button, and if you are new around here and enjoy the content, and also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. But until the Chelsea game tomorrow, keep on keeping on. I will see you then. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.